Elena sat frozen behind the wheel of her car. The ominous note was still in hand. I know who your father is. How long can you keep your lie up? The words in small typeset set bombs off inside Elena's mind. Who could possibly know this? I don't even know who my father is. Elena quickly ran through her Rolodex of potential suspects. Logan was the obvious choice, but this didn't feel like his style. Logan wanted her out of his and Ivy's lives now. If he had discovered her father's true identity, he'd be throwing it in her face, but threatening to take the information to the press. No, the person who left this note had a long game in mind. They wanted Elena to know the power they held over her. Of course, there was always Ivy. Elena let out a quick burst of laughter. That flappable twit? No way! But who else would do this? And more importantly, why? Crew members poured out of the soundstage's side door, making their way to their vehicles. They threw Elena polite waves goodnight. She needed to maintain her composure. This is a bluff. That's what this is. Nothing more. The thought soothed her, but by the time she passed through the wrought iron gates of the Drake's Bel Air estate, never-ending phone alerts indicated that her viral hashtag Savage Siren had mutated into hashtag Suspicious Siren. It seemed a troupe of social media detectives were determined to question and pick apart every aspect of Elena's life. Maggie Torres stood in Drake's dining room, which is looking more and more like a battle station with each passing crisis. The only thing you need to do, Elena, is deny, deny, deny. It seemed like an easy enough strategy, but it didn't give Elena the comfort she had hoped for. People were invading her privacy. She felt violated. God knows what they might drum up. Her hand subconsciously drifted toward her midsection, caressing the unborn child inside of her. Not the baby. No one can find out about the baby. Not yet. Maggie interrupted Elena's thoughts. So, while you're playing defense, we'll be playing offense. We'll snuff out anyone who throws even the tiniest suspicion your way. Troll them, discredit them, dox them if need be. Remember, they're the villains. You're the innocent victim. By morning, Elena's confidence had returned, and she was ready to take on whatever the world threw at her, which was more than she could say about her wardrobe team. Those catty hoes. Roxy St. Mark's, a Cuban firecracker and the lead stylist on Elena's team, rummaged through an entire rack of flawless designer dresses. Fakes, counterfeits. That's what these impish little internet tweeps think about your clothes. I could light them on fire. Roxy, you just have to ignore them. Elena graciously smiled, plucking a satin scarlet dress from the far back of the rack. Here, let's go with this one today. Roxy took a calming breath. Impeccable taste, as always, my love. Oh, and this. Elena handed Roxy a diamond-studded S-pin the size of her hand. It was a statement piece, reminding anyone who saw her that Savage Siren wouldn't bow down to bullies or threats. Elena wove through the backstage hallways, and as she made her way to set, she could hear whispered gossip being exchanged by the crew. I read she was a professional scammer, like she stole people's identities and stuff. I heard she was a jewel thief, on the run from the feds or something. You're both wrong. She's CIA, deep undercover. Elena chuckled. The entire story was spiraling so far out of hand, it was almost comical. Until Gus and Marty confronted her with Hayden Bowler, the vice president of marketing for the Apex network, by their side. Hayden was a slender man with wire-rimmed frames, whose sharp features and stern brown gave off the aura of someone perpetually disappointed. Elena, Savage, we need to talk. Gus looked concerned. Marty looked downright ill. What's the problem, boys? Hayden spoke first. I think you know, Miss Drake. Let me guess. Suspicious Siren? The network is concerned about the negative backlash that the rumors surrounding your persona may produce. I'm the head of marketing, so it's my job to grow the business, and it's hard to grow when the clients buying your product want to seemingly tear the product apart. I'm assuming I am the product? Yes. So, what are you proposing? Elena's eyebrow arched as Marty and Gus shared uncomfortable looks. We were thinking maybe you'd take a step back from the limelight for a bit, just until things blow over. Hayden interjected. We don't want a scandal on our hands. Maggie had prepared Elena for this. Scandal was a word that struck a fear into the hearts of men who lurked in boardrooms and corner offices. I don't want to tell you how to do your job, Mr. Bowler, but isn't scandal what we're trying to sell here? Let's lean in. The people want to tear me apart was good. It means they'll be tuning into every episode you produce with bated breath, hoping to trip me up and expose me for whatever fraud they've created in their minds. Marty, Gus, and Hayden looked at each other, impressed and relieved. Hayden nearly stuttered over himself. I just think we could do something with that. The sudden sounds of chaos interrupted their scheming. Elena, Gus, Marty, and Hayden ran toward the main set to find one of Elena's hulking security guards wrestling a pencil-necked photographer to the ground. Elena rushed up to the security guard. What in the hell is going on? It's the paparazzi. They're swarming the stage. I found this rat snooping around your dressing room. Marty pulled out his cell phone. That is private property. We should call the police. Elena looked on at the squirming photographer, struck by the opportunity their indiscretion afforded her. No, Marty, don't. They want to see me? Then let them see me. Elena glided through the front doors of the soundstage to find a horde of paparazzi and gossip rag trolls. They fired off questions before the door even closed behind her. Savage Siren, how do you feel about the rumors swirling around you? What are you trying to hide from the public? What is your relationship to Mr. Logan Bennett? Who are you, really? As the questions came, rapid fire, Elena struck all her best red carpet poses. Lips pursed, chin lifted, sultry pout. The cameras ate her up. And soon, the questions died down. Her lack of answers retarding the firestorm of queries. But then, 2 LAPD officers cut through the crowd. Excuse me, are you Miss Elena Drake? One of the officers approached her. Elena let out a small laugh. That is apparently up for debate. The officers looked back at her, unfazed, her charm glancing off of them. Yes, I'm Elena Drake. What's going on? You need to come with us, ma'am. The officers led Elena to their idling squad car, and while her face remained stoic, her blood boiled with each click of the paparazzi's cameras. She knew the image of her being ushered into a police cruiser was going to be splashed all over the internet. The only saving grace was that she knew Maggie could spin anything. It's why she was the best. The cruiser pulled away from the studio and made its way towards the heart of Beverly Hills. Elena's mind whirled, trying to suss out what was going on. She wasn't handcuffed, so they didn't think she'd committed a crime. But then, why was she in the back of a police car? The officers blew past the Beverly Hills Police Department, continuing on down Rexford Drive. Where exactly are you taking me? Elena tried to keep the tone of her voice controlled and measured, but the officer's lack of acknowledgement unnerved her. And when she saw hospital signs for Cedars-Sinai Hospital, her stomach dropped. The officers led Elena through a private entrance to a restricted floor. However, she didn't need their guidance. She knew this wing of the hospital like the back of her hand. She'd traversed these floors many times before, each visit leaving behind the hopes and dreams she had wrapped into the unborn child she'd miscarried. Until her most recent visit, that is, the one where she may have lost a husband, but where she found herself. The officers stopped outside a hospital suite, motioning for Elena to enter. She did as told, and was shocked to find Logan in a hospital bed with a neck brace, hooked up to all sorts of machines tracking heart rates and oxygen levels. Logan? Out of nowhere, Dick Warner, Logan's hard-nosed lawyer, handed Elena an envelope. Elena looked at it curiously. What is this? Hello, Miss Drake. You've been served.